So this is a Parker racer that is, it's not mine. The owner of this racer is considering getting a JNAT, so this is just to show him my one of my processes for creating a JNAT edge. Starting with a convex shear sweeter, using a fair bit of pressure to set a new edge, because this had been honed previously on flat stones, and it was also micro convexed using a hanging strop with diamond paste, so that needs to be ironed out, and I need to start fresh. This is a relatively hard sweeter, for at least for sweeter. It's around 4, level 4, what that means. It's yeah, it's hard enough to be used as a bevel setter, that's for sure. It's I could have started with some stones, but I like doing it from scratch, using only naturals. You'll probably save a lot of time doing it on synthetics, but yeah, it's a personal choice. So the reason I'm feeling the toe of the edge is that when you joint the edge on a stone, the toe usually gets more dull than the heel, because you get some metal build up into the groove of the stone, and then it gets more abrasive as you move towards the tip. Yeah, this is going to be a long video, so I'm trying to speed it up by doing the work fast, but of course you don't need to. You should slow down to avoid dragging the edge over the corner of the stone, because it's easy to do if you go fast. It's really nice steel on these Japanese racers. It's so they can really take what I consider a pushed edge. So I mean, I haven't measured the bevel angles, but they're usually also a little wider bevel angle, so you don't risk getting it too thin, like you do on the softer German racers. This is the only test I do. Just feel the edge and see how well it bites into my fingers. After this, there really isn't any need, at least for me, to do any tests. It doesn't get much sharper. It gets sharper, but it's being able to gauge that small differences isn't easy. You just have to trust your process. So now I'm using another convex hard stone with the Tenju Megura. This is in the what Eric at the Cage Light would consider woodpecker hard stone. Woodpecker lips hard stone, whatever that means. Hard. So if you haven't checked out his channel, go to the Blade, and he will probably give you a much better explanation of how these stones work. Again, I'm using now back to heavy bevel setting pressure, using my finger as leverage, effectively working at the back of the bevel, so there's no risk of creating a burr or anything. It's because I'm not getting all the way to the edge at this point, but pressure is needed to make this do anything. So I'm changing my grip at the end, and then I'm loosening up the pressure. But now I'm working with pressure. This is also a really hard stone, the type everyone thinks they need. So and I'm using a Kuma Nagura. So the harder stones are usually a little more forgive, or you have more range with your pressure, and some say the harder stones are finer, but that's if you get a softer level 4.5 stone, they can be just as fine as these harder stones. So, but these harder stones give you a slight edge on the sharpness side, and you also can use a lot more pressure without digging into the stone and rounding off the apex. I prefer to hold this stone in hand, so and that's why I prefer slightly shorter, lighter stones. This gets heavy to hold. It's also easier to control where the slurry is running when you hold it in your hand. So as you can see, it's it's actually removing a fair bit of metal at this stage too. And again, I'm using a fair bit of pressure when I'm using this grip. And when I'm changing the grip, again, I'm loosening up on the pressure. If you're just floating on top and you're really not doing much, it's like yeah. Pressure is important in my opinion. So I use pressure all the way until the finish. I'm loosening up the pressure like I'm doing now, gauging how much undercut you get, how the slurry runs up on the blade. So now I'm going one step back on the convex smaller J nut again, just to work a little on the back side of the bevel. I usually don't do this, but the owner of this razor wants what I consider a lightsaber edge. It's probably too sharp for what I usually go for, but yeah. So I'm back on track on the flat stone, doing my final Tomo Nagura finishing. So as you can see, this is a really hard stone, and the Nagura is also quite hard, so it takes quite some time just to get a slurry going. Like watching paint dry. Now I'm back to using pressure again. It's when I'm using this grip, I'm increasing the pressure and isolating parts of the blade on the stone, and I'm loosening up the pressure again. And so now the stone is already starting to fight back, and you get suction to the stone, and yeah, that's the problem with these harder stones, that they at some point they will start to fight you back, and you get suction, and some think that that's a sign that you're finished, but in my opinion you're far from finished when the stone starts to grab the razor. Then you So at this point, it's going to, I need to either lighten up the pressure or add some lubrication and something to change the surface tension. So I'm using ONR Optimum No Rinse solution to try to work through this this resistance. So now I'm starting to get what some refer to as violent undercut. It's the slurry and water is just pushed over the edge, and then it starts to stick again. So now I need to add more lubrication and and try to avoid the stone grabbing the razor. So that's the challenge with these harder stones. They can give you a really keen edge, but yeah, they can also ruin a perfectly good edge at this stage if you don't manage the pressure correctly. So as you can see, the water is shooting over the edge, and and the stone wants to grab onto the razor. And the slurry also acts as lubrication, so to avoid the stone from grabbing the edge. So now it's basically weight of the blade and even less than weight of the blade for the final finish, and short strokes to avoid the stone from grabbing the razor. So this is the only time I will use this light pressure. I'm playing with pressure all the way up to this point. Now it's just the blade's just kissing the stone. Yeah, and the microscope image shows that it's this steel can take a really nice edge. I was really impressed by this Japanese steel. So I've owned two Japanese razors in the last few days, and they are both the steel is really impressive. It reminds me of the Swedish Hellistron steel and Erik Anton Berg and those steels. Yeah, so basically it's clean, and I need to test shave, but it's based on the image. I can say that this is going to shave quite well. I've done this so many times now that I don't think there's going to be any surprises. So there's no burrs or any things that are hanging off the edge. So I hope this edge will be good for the owner of this razor. I don't think he's tried a J-nut edge before, at least not with the concave, slightly concave bevel. Yeah, so thank you for watching. This was just a video for the owner of the razor, and basically the same as I've done previously, but yeah.